This is my drone, completely swallowed by a forest, branches on every single side, almost zero visibility, and I am not touching the controls. I pressed one button about 90 seconds before this moment, and what you're about to see is the drone making every single decision on its own. No GPS lock in here. No clean line of sight, just a drone weighing barely 160 grams with its transceiver attached, deciding in real time whether it lives or dies in these trees. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you will never look at your return to home button the same way again. And I'm also going to show you the exact 3 settings I changed on my own Neo 2 that made all of this possible. So don't skip ahead, because you'll need those later. Why you're wrong about RTH. If you fly a DJI Neo 2, you've probably used Return to Home 100 times without thinking twice about it. Battery gets low, you tap the button, drone comes home, you land, you move on with your day. It feels routine. It feels almost boring. And that's exactly the problem, because most pilots treat RTH like a glorified autopilot function, a safety net you only think about when something's already gone wrong. That mindset is not just outdated, it's actually a little bit dangerous, because it means you don't understand what your drone is capable of until the one day you actually need it to save your footage, or worse, save the aircraft itself. Here's what's really happening under the hood. The Neo 2 isn't just flying a straight line back to a saved GPS coordinate. It's running a live obstacle mapping system, cross-referencing forward vision sensors with a LiDAR unit, recalculating its flight path multiple times per second, and making judgment calls about altitude, direction, and speed based on what's physically in front of it right now, not what was there when you took off. That is a completely different category of technology than the RTH systems drones had even 3 or 4 years ago. So, today, I wanted to actually find the edge of this system. Not the manufacturer's marketing claim, not what the manual says, but the real, practical limit of what this drone can navigate its way out of. I built 5 tests, each one significantly harder than the last, starting with something almost embarrassingly easy and ending in a place I genuinely thought I might lose the aircraft. I'm flying with the DJI RC2 controller on the full digital transceiver link the entire time, so there's no signal excuse here. Every result you're about to see is the drone and nothing else. Let's start easy, because you need to see the baseline before you'll believe what comes next. Test 1. The control flight. Every good experiment needs a control group, so before we throw obstacles at this thing, I flew it a few hundred meters out over a completely open field. No trees, no structures, nothing between the drone and home except air. This is the flight nobody makes a video about, and that's exactly why I'm including it, because you need a reference point for everything that follows. I hit the RTH button, and on the display, the augmented reality overlay immediately draws the calculated route home, a straight, clean, uninterrupted line. No hesitation, no recalculation, no wasted movement. The Neo 2 turns to face home, climbs slightly to its set altitude, and just goes. 30 seconds later, it's hovering above the landing pad, ready to set down. If you've flown literally any modern drone, this will look completely unremarkable to you. And it should, because this is what RTH is designed to do in ideal conditions. But here's why this matters. This flight is our baseline for comparison. Every test after this one is going to take that same simple concept, fly in a straight line to a known point, and bury it under layer after layer of real-world chaos. Keep this clean, straight line in your head, because in about 20 minutes, you're going to see a route so complex, it barely resembles a flight path anymore. Test 2. The first obstacles. Now we start adding difficulty, but I want to keep this test realistic, not extreme. This is the kind of situation most hobbyist pilots actually run into on a normal weekend flight. You've flown a few hundred meters out, maybe chasing a nice shot along a tree line, and now the battery indicator is creeping toward that orange zone. Between your drone and your home point, there's a row of trees. Nothing exotic, just ordinary obstacles that exist in basically every outdoor flying location on the planet. I press Earth, and immediately you can see the drone's onboard system identify the tree line as a solid obstacle, rather than something to fly through blindly. The AR route on screen redraws itself in real time, adding a climb segment specifically to clear the canopy height, and it does this without me touching a single control input. What impressed me here wasn't just that it avoided the trees. Plenty of drones can do that with basic sensors. It's how efficiently it calculated the minimum altitude required. It didn't blast up to 200 meters just to be safe. It found the smallest reasonable buffer above the tree line and stuck to it, which matters a lot if you're flying somewhere with altitude restrictions. A second tree line appears further along the route, and the Neo 2 handles it exactly the same way. Smooth climb, clean pass, no drama. Then, once there's genuinely nothing left in its path, it drops back down and resumes that same confident straight line from test 1, right back to the landing pad. Clean, efficient, and honestly, still not something worth writing home about. This is where I'd expect any competent modern drone to land. So if you've been nervous about trusting Rith around a couple of trees, this test alone should put that fear to rest. But we are just getting warmed up, because what comes next is where things get genuinely uncomfortable to watch. Test 3. The narrow corridor. This is where I stopped being casual about this experiment. I deliberately flew the Neo2 into an extremely narrow gap between two walls of overgrown bushes, the kind of path that even a person on foot would struggle to walk through without getting smacked in the face by branches. Above the drone, there's a closed canopy, meaning climbing straight up simply isn't an option here. To the sides, dense vegetation on both walls. This is a legitimate three-dimensional trap, and I built it that way on purpose. Watch the obstacle radar in the corner of the screen as I fly deeper into this corridor. It's lighting up on nearly every axis, forward, both sides, and increasingly close range. This is the kind of environment where I would normally switch to full manual control without a second thought, because trusting an automated system here feels genuinely risky. But that's exactly the point of this test. I want to know if the system agrees with my instinct or proves it wrong. I trigger Earth, and the calculated route appears pointing almost directly back the way we came. The system has essentially concluded that climbing is not a viable option, and the only sane path home is to retrace something close to the original entry route, low and careful. Almost immediately, a cluster of thin branches reaches directly into the flight path, and the drone reacts instantly, nudging sideways just enough to slip past without breaking stride. There's actually a gap to the side here wide enough that the drone could theoretically escape sideways instead of continuing straight, but it doesn't take it, it sticks to the safer, more predictable corridor path instead, which tells you something about how conservative the system's decision-making actually is when multiple options exist. Then the calculated route runs straight into a low-hanging bush, thick leaves directly in the flight line with seemingly no way around it. For a second, I genuinely thought this was going to be the moment things went wrong. Instead, the Neo2 drops altitude just enough to duck beneath the densest part of the foliage, brushing past the lower branches and immediately correcting its heading the instant it's clear. That single maneuver right there might be the most impressive thing I saw in this entire test. A split-second altitude adjustment calculated and executed in real time, with zero input from me. From there, it's a slow, methodical crawl out of the vegetation. Small corrections constantly, nothing dramatic, just patient, careful navigation until finally the canopy opens up and the drone breaks out into open sky. The moment it's clear, the whole personality of the flight changes. It snaps back to that same confident straight-line behavior from test 1 and heads home without a second thought. I'll be honest with you, I was not expecting a drone in this price and weight class to handle that corridor as cleanly as it did, but I wasn't satisfied yet. I wanted to know what happens when there is no path home at all, not a narrow one, none, that's next, and it's the test that actually made me nervous while I was flying it. Test 4. Expert into the forest. I need to be completely transparent with you about something before I show you this next test. When I flew the Neo2 into this section of forest, I fully expected to spend the next 20 minutes using the Find My Drone feature, walking through undergrowth with my phone held out in front of me like some kind of divining rod. I want you to understand that this was not a test I felt confident about walking into. This was dense, mature forest, thick trunks, low branches, overlapping canopy, and genuinely limited visibility in almost every direction. Take a look at the obstacle radar the moment I trigger Rith here. It is completely saturated. Red indicators on nearly every side of the display simultaneously. If you didn't know better, you'd assume this drone has no realistic path back to safety. Unlike the tighter corridor in the last test, there's actually a bit more vertical room here before hitting solid canopy, so the system has a genuine decision to make: push up and over, or thread a path through the trunks at low altitude. It chooses to climb, and for a moment, that decision looks like it might have been the wrong call, because the route immediately runs it into a dense tangle of overlapping branches near the canopy line. This is genuinely uncomfortable to watch. The drone is threading through gaps that look, from the pilot's seat, barely wider than the aircraft itself. It tries one direction, finds branches blocking the path, pulls back, tries another angle, blocked again. This isn't a single clean maneuver. This is trial and error playing out in real time. Dozens of micro-corrections stacked on top of each other as the system essentially problem solves its way through a three-dimensional maze that changes with every meter of forward progress. And then, finally, a gap opens in the canopy, just wide enough, and the Neo2 punches through into open air above the tree line. The second it clears the branches, the flight path straightens out completely, and it heads for home like nothing happened. I actually let out an audible breath of relief watching this back on the recording, and I was standing right there when it happened. This is, without exaggeration, one of the more impressive pieces of autonomous flight behavior I've personally witnessed from a consumer drone at this price point. But you already know what's coming next, because I told you at the start of this video where this was heading. I sent it back into an even wider, even denser section of the same forest, and what happened there is the reason this video exists in the first place. Test 5. The Impossible Recovery. Same forest, different section, and honestly, going into this one, I assumed it would actually be easier than the last test, because the path here is noticeably wider, more room between the trunks, a broader gap for the drone to maneuver within. I was wrong about that assumption almost immediately, and I want to walk you through exactly why, because this is genuinely the most dramatic sequence in this entire video. I triggered Rith here with the battery already sitting lower than I would normally be comfortable with, which added a real layer of pressure to the situation, because this wasn't just about proving a point anymore, this was about actually getting the aircraft home before the battery forced an emergency landing in the middle of a forest. The Neo2's first instinct, just like the previous test, was to climb. But this time, that decision sent it directly into what I can only describe as a genuine maze of thin, overlapping branches. Dozens of them, crisscrossing in every direction, some so thin they barely register as obstacles until the drone is already inches away from them. Watching this back, my honest first reaction was that there was no realistic way this aircraft was getting out of there without clipping something. Thin, overlapping branches are genuinely one of the hardest obstacle categories for any drone sensor suite to handle cleanly, because they're small, they move slightly in the wind, and they come from unpredictable angles simultaneously. This is exactly the scenario where the Neo2's sensor fusion actually earns its keep, because it's not relying on vision alone here. The forward-facing LiDAR sensor is working in tandem with the vision system, essentially giving the drone a secondary, more precise way of measuring exact distance to these thin obstacles that a camera alone might struggle to judge accurately. And you can see the result of that combination play out in real time. The flight path adjusts constantly, sometimes shifting by what looks like only a few centimeters, squeezing through gaps that genuinely should not be wide enough for a drone with spinning propellers to pass through safely. Multiple times during this sequence, I was certain the route had hit a dead end, no visible way forward, branches on every side, and every single time, the system found another micro-adjustment, another sliver of open space, and kept pushing forward instead of giving up or triggering an emergency landing. This went on for what felt like an eternity in the moment, though in reality it was closer to a minute and a half of continuous tense maneuvering. And then, finally, a break in the canopy appears, and the Neo2 pushes through it into open sky above the forest. From there, the rest of the flight is almost anticlimactic in comparison. A clean, confident, straight run back to the home point, landing exactly where it took off. I want to be completely honest with you. Watching this happen live, I had genuinely started composing the apology video in my head for losing the drone. What I witnessed instead was, without exaggeration, the most impressive piece of autonomous obstacle navigation I have personally seen from a drone that weighs about 150 grams. If you've made it this far into the video, you now understand exactly why I called this God mode. And honestly, you deserve to know exactly how to set your own Neo2 up so it behaves like this when you actually need it to. My recommended Rith settings. Everything you just watched wasn't luck, and it wasn't the Neo2's default out-of-the-box configuration either. There are a handful of specific settings buried inside the DJI Fly app that genuinely change how confidently and how intelligently this drone behaves during return to home. And I want to walk you through exactly what I use on my own aircraft, because these are the same settings that made everything in this video possible. Open the DJI Fly app, tap the three dots in the top right corner, select the Safety tab, and scroll down until you find the Return to Home section. The first setting worth talking about is Advanced Earth, and here you're given a choice between two modes, Optimal and Preset. Preset mode forces the drone to climb to a fixed altitude you set manually before every single return flight, regardless of what's actually around it. Optimal mode is smarter. It lets the drone calculate an appropriate altitude based on its actual surroundings in real time, using its sensors to judge how high it genuinely needs to climb rather than blindly following a fixed number. If lighting conditions aren't sufficient for the sensors to make that judgment confidently, it automatically falls back to behaving like preset mode instead, so you're never left without a safety net. I keep my Neo 2 on optimal essentially all the time, because it's the setting responsible for that efficient, minimal altitude climbing behavior you saw throughout every single test in this video. Directly below that is your auto reth altitude setting, which determines how high the drone climbs when preset behavior is actually required. My personal recommendation here is 60 meters or higher, which is generally enough clearance to get above the vast majority of trees you'll encounter in most everyday flying environments without unnecessarily creeping into altitude restrictions in more regulated areas. Next, look for Update Home Point. Tapping this opens a small map interface with two distinct options: static and dynamic home points. A static home point stays fixed exactly where you originally took off, and you can manually reposition it later if needed. A dynamic home point, on the other hand, continuously updates itself based on your controller's live position, which is genuinely useful if you're moving during the flight, hiking, biking, or riding in a vehicle. Instead of the drone trying to return to a spot you left 10 minutes and half a kilometer ago, it comes back to wherever you actually are right now. I personally use Dynamic Home Point for the majority of my flights these days. Finally, dig into the augmented reality settings menu and make sure all three toggles are switched on. AR Home Point displays your saved home location directly on your live camera feed. Rith Route shows you the exact calculated return path in real time, which is the exact overlay you've been watching throughout this entire video, and it becomes genuinely essential once your drone starts navigating around real obstacles. And Aircraft Shadow during landing gives you a visual projection of exactly where the drone is about to touch down, which is a small detail that makes a real difference for precise landings. Optimal Rith, Dynamic Home Point when it fits your situation, and all three AR overlays enabled. That's the exact configuration behind everything you just watched. And if your Neo 2 isn't set up this way yet, I genuinely pause the video right now and go change it before you forget. Final verdict and call to action. So here's where I land on all of this. After 5 separate tests, each one deliberately harder than the last, I went in expecting this drone to eventually hit a wall, some obstacle dense enough or narrow enough that it simply couldn't reason its way out. It never happened. Every single time, across genuinely difficult, unpredictable, real-world obstacles, the Neo 2's return-to-home system found a path home. Not a perfect path every time, plenty of trial and error along the way, but a path nonetheless, and that combination of persistence and precision is honestly what impressed me most. Now I want to hear from you directly, because this is where the conversation actually gets interesting. How much do you personally trust return to home on your own drone? Have you ever had it save a flight you genuinely thought was over? Or, on the flip side, has it ever let you down at the worst possible moment? Drop your story in the comments below. I read every single one, and I'll be replying throughout the week. If this video actually changed how you think about Rith, or if you learned something from the settings breakdown, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel more than you'd think. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a pretty good time, because there's a lot more testing like this coming. But honestly, more than anything else, here's my actual advice. Stop watching drone videos. Grab your own drone, go outside, and fly it yourself, because no amount of footage on a screen replaces the feeling of actually being out there with your own aircraft in the air. Have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.